Hello, 6-3 here. I just wanted to make this video to highlight some of the big changes that are going to be coming to PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds here in the very near future, most notably the addition of the confirmed first-person only servers, which will first be coming to NA and EU servers for solo and duo, and they said they'll be expanding to other regions then shortly thereafter. Now, I'm sure not many people play in first person on a regular basis just because there are so many advantages to being in third person, such as peeking corners, locating targets, and just in general having a wider field of view. So I wanted to make a video here. We're playing only in first person. Again, I'm playing against people that are playing in third person, but we'll just highlight some of the things that to look out for that are going to be different when you haven't been playing in first person much, or if at all. One of the first things to consider is dropping out of the plane. We know that the 100 players in the game sit in 2 different compartments in the plane, so you can only see how empty your compartment is, and you also can't see how many people have just dropped out of the plane until you yourself eject. Now, it's always a good practice to use Alt to free look around on your way down to the ground to see who's landing with you, but in first person, you do have to do a lot more turning to look around and see who's near you, and after your parachute opens, it does block part of your view, so there could be somebody directly above you that you might miss on your way down. Now's where the real chaos begins. Now in first person, you can't peek corners anymore and you won't be able to locate your targets as easily. So you better have your gun out and ready and don't get caught sprinting, because especially in these high population areas, you are going to run into a lot of people early on. Like this poor soul who just happened to pick the wrong side of the room. Now up until this point, as far as looting goes, I normally press tab and drag and drop my loot, unless there's like one item that I'm picking up, in which case I'll just press F, especially since the last update where they made it easier to loot using F, since you can loot while moving, you don't have to come to a complete stop to pick up items. Now I do a little bit of both in this video, you'll see, but when in first person and using F to pick up items, your entire character and screen drop to pick up the item off the ground, which can get pretty annoying after a while, especially if you suffer from motion sickness and having your screen bounce around all the time. So it is probably better to almost all the time use tab to drag and drop items when playing in first person. Now the next and probably biggest hurdle to overcome in first person mode will be driving. If you've ever been going down the road and you accidentally press V to switch to first person, you be damn sure you're stopping that car and switching back because it sucks. You also better be careful because the V key is right next to F, and if you hit F while you're driving, well, we all know what happens when you hit F while you're driving. Now here's something I thought was really interesting. When driving in the Dacia, as it approaches 100 kilometers per hour, the frame actually starts to get longer and the camera shifts backwards a little bit, almost as if you're going into hyperspeed. It just happened, and I'll play it again for you in slow motion so you can see it again. It looks really strange though, and I'm not sure what its purpose is. Now there are a lot of different types of vehicles in PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and until this point it was a clear choice which ones you want and which ones you don't. I mean, the Dacia and the covered Jeep offer the most protection, less chance that you and your buddies get shot out. But as you can see, the frame of this vehicle does actually cut off a lot of your view, and with that already being a problem in first person, there actually is a benefit to potentially using some of the other vehicles, such as the motorcycle or the open top Jeep on a more regular basis. Obviously, if you have to get somewhere, you're going to take whatever vehicle is available to you, but if you have options, now it might be a little bit better just because spotting enemies is going to be more difficult than it is in third person, since you can look around so easily, and there are better options to give you more line of sight. Now, I'm sure while playing this game, everyone at least once has been driving and flipped their vehicle. It's just the risk you take when you decide to go off-road, cut the corner, and get to the loot quicker than the other guy. It's also known that it's really easy to flip these vehicles, and if you hit just about anything going at moderate speed, you're in for a bad time. Now, in third-person mode, you get kind of a top-down view on your vehicle, and you can see more things, and it's easier to avoid things, as well as, just like driving in first person in real life, you have to kind of judge the width of your vehicle to make it through some tight corners. There are some spots in this game where you can just barely fit a vehicle through, and a lot of times you don't slow down to a complete stop to go through there. You, in the third person, you can just kind of judge it and go right through. Not something you can as easily do in first person, especially when you're trying to avoid gunfire, which doesn't often happen in real life, hopefully not to many of you. Now, rolling up on compounds in this game is scary, especially when you know the plane flew over top of here, and what are the chances that nobody decided to loot these buildings? All the doors are closed. Now I'm suspicious. Now, when first person only servers come out, for better or for worse, more people are going to be camping. It's just a fact of the matter. People are going to be more scared. It's much riskier to be going outside because you can't see all your angles as easily as you could in third person. And there's a much greater chance that you're going to open that bathroom door and you're going to get slugged by a shotgun. Now, I'm not being overly cautious right now, but thankfully the guy that's camping did make some noise, so I did know where he was at in advance. But that does bring up a good point as far as being stealthy in this game, since that is a big part of this game and finding your opponent first. When you're wearing boots, you are making more noise outside, but you make less noise inside. And when you're barefoot, you make less noise outside, but more noise inside. And who knows, this guy might not have known that he was the only one at this compound, because he didn't loot the other buildings. We can give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was just meeting up there, or maybe he did get chased to that compound. But regardless, we will be seeing more of this when first person only servers do come out, and people are just in general going to be playing more cautious and more scared. Now, while talking about stealthiness, there is one thing that I would love to see implemented into the game, and that is when entering doors. Right now, you just open the door and it makes the standard door noise. Everyone knows it, and you can tell if someone's coming in your building. But if you were running at a door, you could press F and basically kick open the front door. You'd barge in, but you could almost surprise an enemy if you got in there quicker. And likewise, if you were crouching up to a door and you opened it, it would open much slower, maybe make little to no noise, and you could sneak up or surprise an enemy. And this would be the direct counter to the vaulting, which they've already announced. Since right now there are usually only 1 to 2 doors to enter or exit a building, and so if you're in the building right now, you pretty much get trapped in there and somebody's going to sneak up on you, and you either have to kill them to get out or you get killed. And with vaulting, you'll be able to vault out windows and have an escape if somebody comes in your building, if you choose to do so. And so the counter to that would be, instead of having people get trapped in their buildings or just run out on you, if you choose to do so, you could sneak into buildings or barge right in and surprise them to either get the kill or get killed yourself. Now, one thing that will be easier when in first person will be hip firing. Most people don't go to first person when they have to hip fire, and if you haven't tried to hip fire, shoot someone through a window and have all your bullets hit the railing or the bars on a window, then I'm happy for you. But it does happen pretty often. You have to get your bullets right through the slits in these windows, and the character doesn't change. Now, one of the benefits of being in first person all the time is that you'll get used to hip firing in first person. Many people don't switch to first person to hip fire. You just kind of pull the trigger, and in third person, where the camera thinks that the bullets are going and where the bullets are actually going are two different things, and it's not quite as different in first person. If you've never had the displeasure yet of trying to shoot someone through a window and having all your bullets hit the bars or planks on a window, well, then I'm happy for you. But it is pretty easy to do. And in first person, the camera angle does not change very much, if at all, from first person hip fire to first person aiming down sights, so it is much easier to do, as you saw earlier when I shot that guy. Although there were no bars in that window, the camera did not change very much when I hip fired. Now, I do have the displeasure here of having been snuck up on, but hey, you know, that's just how the game goes. We just won't gas up that car, and I'm not sure how I didn't die, because he must have just clipped my pinky finger with that bullet. Definitely should have been finished off. Here's a great example of how to flip a car in first person, and how atrocious it really is, and how disorienting it is when you get out of the car. You don't know where you are, and it doesn't really go well. But who knows, when the official first-person servers come out, maybe they'll change the way the actual game operates to fix some of these things, since it is a little bit more awkward playing in first person. But if you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and let us know in the comments below what you think about the first person only servers, whether you like it or if you'll be playing them. Thank you guys for watching.